Hello guys, this is your channel TFD, and we're back with another video. And yeah, this one right here, it's getting interesting fast because it looks like Caitlin Clark's agent situation has suddenly found itself right in the middle of the CBA headlines. And yeah, this whole thing is messy as hell. So for this story, we've got to take it all the way up to Indy, because of course we do. Let's get it. Let's go and let's jump straight into it, no bullshit. Late last night, news broke that a select group of players sent letters directly to the WNBPA and some team owners regarding the ongoing CBA negotiations. Now, at first glance, it looked pretty simple. Most people assumed, okay, players want more money, end of story, right? But the more you dig into it, the messier it starts to look. And by messy, I mean straight up chaotic nonsense. Because now we're hearing about which agents were involved and who allegedly raised concerns, and people are side-eyeing this whole damn thing. And of course, one name immediately grabbed headlines, Erin Kane, who was previously reported as Caitlin Clark's agent. Personally, I don't believe she's no longer under the same agency. Yeah, I'm calling bullshit on that. But either way, that name being attached to this situation raised eyebrows and set the internet on fire. So let's slow it down and figure out how we even got here, because this ain't adding up at all. According to sports reporters, this situation is more than a little interesting. It's suspicious as hell. And honestly, the biggest question is, what took so long? Because another name on that list made people stop and say, hold on, why is Breanna Stewart's agent involved here? Especially when Breanna Stewart herself sits as a vice president on the executive committee. Like, make that make sense. Think about that for a second. How is her agent seemingly out of the loop on what's happening with the CBA? That doesn't add up, not even a little bit, and it smells funny. And to me, it starts to paint a bigger picture. It looks like the union may not have been fully communicating with everyone. Not all players, not all agents, and maybe not even everyone on the committee, which is wild and sloppy. Because otherwise, why would agents be standing around saying, wait a minute, if there's no WNBA season, nobody's making money. Players don't get paid, agents don't get paid, and suddenly, everyone realizes they may not have been on the same page this whole time, damn near flying blind. And guys, that right there, that might be the real story. Not the PR spin, not the fake unity, but the ugly truth nobody wants to admit. Now, Alexa Philippou did sit down for an interview with ESPN yesterday. Before we even roll that clip, though, I want to back things up and show you guys the actual group of agents who sent out that information, basically spelling out which players' agents were involved and who really said what. That's what we're about to dive into right now, man. And real quick, shout out to the homeboy Mike over on Twitter for putting this together. Here he said, wow, if this is true, these are the league's top dogs. Caitlin Clark, A'ja Wilson, Paige Beuckers, Angel Reese. He said the letter was signed by 9 prominent players' agents, including Lindsay Kagawa Colas, representing Breanna Stewart and Paige Beuckers, Jade English, representing A'ja Wilson, Erin Kane, representing Caitlin Clark, Gina Paradiso, representing Angel Reese, Boris Leilchinski, representing Dominique Malonga, and Ticha Penicheiro, representing Kayla McBride. But I'm told not to infer anyone's intentions about striking or not striking from the letter. It was more of an effort to include players' agents in the final stages of CBA negotiations, as is historically common. So, to me, it honestly looks like the agents are just trying to make sure they still get paid. That's the vibe I'm getting. One person said Erin Kane is still collecting fees, but he's not Caitlin Clark's agent anymore. Supposedly, she's moved up, so that info might not even be accurate. Somebody else jumped in saying they thought both players had the same agent. I never heard that. What I heard was Caitlin Clark has a new agent now, you feel me? I don't know how solid this is, but that's what folks are saying, dog. Now, let's hear what Michael Voipel said, citing Alexa Philippou from ESPN, with details on WNBA agents calling for more transparency and better communication from the players' union. Behind the scenes, agents have been discussing this issue for many months. Not days, not weeks, months. That's important. Now, here's the article, and here's the video of Alexa Philippou today actually speaking on this, breaking down exactly what happened and how it all went down. Let me restart this real quick. Let's listen to this for a moment. I couldn't find the full interview, but let's check out this segment right here, guys, because this is where it starts to get very specific.
truly an inflection point in this league as they try to get this thing hammered out, though. I do want to go to the calendar of some of the things to look at over the next coming months in the WNBA offseason. The women's Final Four wraps up in Cleveland on April 5th. The WNBA draft is April 13th, and the regular season begins on May 8th. And there's 2 expansion franchises debuting this year in Toronto and Portland. So that's kind of a look ahead to the season beginning. Alexa, what still needs to be hammered out by the 2 sides before then?
The revenue sharing system remains first and foremost the most important matter right now. The league is proposing a system where the players would receive about 70% of net revenue. That's revenue after deducting expenses, versus the players are asking for a system where they'd get about 27.5 gross revenue. That's revenue before deducting expenses. So you have a different system, you have a different percentage, and the best way I could probably illustrate the difference is if you look at the salary cap under year 1 of the proposals that both sides are proposing. For the players, they would say the year 1 salary cap would be around $9.5 million. And for the league, it would be around $5.65 million. So a big difference to bridge there. You also have the league and the union disagreeing on whether the union's proposal would result in significant losses for the league. The second most important issue is to figure out housing, because teams have historically provided it for players. We've seen a lot of movement on that front and these proposals that have been exchanged over the past few weeks after a stalemate really to begin 2026. And it's my understanding that the players and the league are also meeting. They met earlier today, I should say, and we'll see what movement comes from there. But as you just illustrated, 74 days until the start of the regular season, a lot to hammer out before then.
Yeah, just February 23rd, May 8th is when this thing tips off. A lot of news. You'll be there to cover with it. Alexa, thank you so much.
See, this is really what the whole situation comes down to. Just like I've been saying, this push for revenue sharing is coming mainly from the older players. For whatever reason, they want to make sure they lock in some form of long-term revenue sharing. But honestly, I just don't see the owners budging on that. I really don't. To me, it feels like they're asking for too much, and in the process, they're the ones slowing everything down. That's why what Alexa Philippou laid out is important, because she kind of pulled the curtain back on what's actually happening. She broke down the timeline and explained how the league is trying to map things out, including plans around the WNBA draft and the lottery. All of that sounds good on paper, but at the end of the day, none of it matters if they miss the deadline. And let's be clear, the deadline is March 10th. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. No matter how much anyone feels they're owed money or deserve more, if this deal doesn't get done by then, everybody is going to feel the impact. Players, teams, fans, everyone. Now, another piece people aren't talking about enough is why these agents are suddenly so vocal. Agents make money off these contracts too. They get a percentage of what players earn. In other pro leagues, like the National Football League, agents usually take around 2 to 3%. I don't know the exact number in the WNBA, but the point still stands. No deal means no checks. That's also why I keep saying I don't believe Erin Kane is still Caitlin Clark's agent. She may still be under the same agency umbrella, and I need to look more into that. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Keep those notifications on, and don't forget to like and subscribe.